Let's check out 𝗪𝗏𝗧𝗛𝗓 and a mostly vacant downtown Portland. Here we go.
Looks like all four corners. Nothing there, nothing there, and nothing there. All gone. We have a tent on the left-hand side. Part of the reason why things are boarded up over here. That's how they wish reality was on that picture. But this is reality. Let's take this picture. This is reality. Look, retail space available, office space available, redefined downtown, office space, retail space. This is the U.S. Bancorp Tower. They got all these spaces.
Population loss in Multnomah County, regional job losses, despite the national labor market growing. People, quote, voting with their feet.
And now to downtown Portland, where another business is leaving the Pioneer Courthouse Square area. The CVS Pharmacy, I should say, will soon be shuttering its location on Southwest Broadway.
Leaving the Portland area due to high housing costs and taxes. And when it comes to real estate attractiveness, Portland ranked 80th out of 81, second to last in attracting outside investment, in front of only Hartford, Connecticut.
Downtown Portland Clean and Safe reported this summer that foot traffic that is downtown, reached its highest level since the pandemic. However, office worker presence remains low, with traffic from January to August still just 70% of what it was in 2019.
From 2019 to 2024, one analysis found that local taxes on Portland businesses went up by 82% in just that 5-year span.
I honestly don't think you can become any more brain dead than the people on city council in either Portland, Oregon, or Seattle, Washington. They are staring at the fact that their downtown cores have been hollowed out because of crime, high taxes, open-air drug dealing, people running around chasing each other with machetes, sex trafficking, human trafficking, open-air drug markets, open-air stolen goods. You've got all of that because all of that goes with the drug culture. And that's what's taken over a lot of these downtowns of big blue cities. Well, the geniuses in Portland are saying, all right, we got to do something here. What do we do? I know. Let's tax those poor business owners. These are business owners that if they had the choice, they would rather have income coming in. And the fact that these people are so mentally dense that they don't get that, they're going to spend like $60,000 on a study to try and figure out, well, should we tax the poor business owners or not? We need to get some of that revenue coming in. So you're going to take a dude who's trying to rent out a place that's already got maintenance issues, that's already had his store broken into 100 times, that's got homeless people doing fetty out in front, that's got to clean out the front of his storefront from human excrement and urine on a daily basis, sometimes kicking the hypodermic needles out of the way. Now it's tinfoil with fetty, right? But these guys who are trying to rent out their space, they would love to rent the space out. You don't need to tax them. That is the mentally unfit thing to do. But that's what Seattle and Portland are both, and in other cities across the country are proposing this because they are brain dead. They just don't get it, nor do they care. Well, let's tax them. Because as you heard, taxes in Portland, Oregon are astronomical. Hartford, Connecticut, the only other market that has a less favorable investment in real estate in the United States of a mid to big city, I think that number was. Portland, almost dead last. 80th out of 81st. I mean, almost dead last. Seattle has the highest vacancy factor in the United States. What's one of their genius ideas? Oh, I think we should tax the business owners for leaving this space open. Like they have a choice. If they could rent out this space, they would. Because they've not only got really high taxes to deal with, they've got maintenance issues. They've got they've got payments. Talk about mortgage payments on these buildings. It's not like they just sit there and go, oh, well, they're vacant. Oh, everything's going to be fine. It's going to work out. This is their livelihood. They are investors. But you know what? The socialist commies in Seattle and Portland, they don't seem to care. Oh, let's just tax them. Great concept. Just a stupendous idea. You can tell I have disdain for these commies, right? Portland City Council explores a vacancy fee on landlords with empty spaces. What? If I was a kid, if I was in my early 20s and I was reading that, I would think that this has got to be Mad Magazine, right? Because this is mad. This is literally mad. That's not what you do. What you do, people in Portland, what you do, people in Seattle, is you clean up your streets. You start enforcing the law. You kick the homeless to wherever they need to go, whether that is a shelter, housing, treatment, jail. You get them off the streets. You make your streets cleaner. You actually start enforcing the law. You get more police going. But you're not going to do any of that because you're a bunch of commies. All right. Study commissioned by the city will cost $62,520. What is that extra $20 going towards? And conclude by April 30th. $62,000 to figure out if this is going to work or not? I can tell you right now for free, you numbnuts, it's not. This is terrible. But this is why these downtown cores are suffering. You have leadership that is literally mentally incapacitated to the point where they think, well, we got to do something. Woo! And this is what they come up with. This is the best that they can come up with. This is the best that Portland has to offer. Let's talk some. How's that working out for you? How's that working out? Research shows vacancy taxes have not dramatically reduced vacancies in other cities. Really? Hey, these guys would love to have a tenant in there, but you guys, the guys on the city council, the mayor, the governor, you guys have driven these spaces into the ground by your policy decisions. So now you got to live with it. You can't just tax them. That's a moronic thing to do. That is literally a moronic thing to do. And just because other people are jumping off a cliff and doing this doesn't mean that that's a good idea. And it's not. And 62,000 people of Portland, you guys should be outraged. You know what? You're not going to be because you voted these numbnuts into office. Now you got to deal with it, right? You got to deal with it. And conservative folks in Portland, I'm so sorry. Same thing in Seattle. There's a lot of conservative people in Seattle. Their vote just doesn't go anywhere, right? Because you just got an overwhelming number of just numbnuts. Portland City Council is exploring controversial approach. It's not controversial. It's stupid. It is moronic. It is dumb. It's mentally incapacitated. Just the idea, introduced by councilors Jamie Dunphy and 𝗪𝗏 is to impose a fee on landlords of buildings with available space. What do you think is going on there, Jimmy and Samir? What do you think's going on, Jimmy and Samir, that they're just sitting around waiting for a fine to happen before, I guess I'll get off my ass and get a tenant in there now? Is that what you think is happening? Because that's not what's happening. You have driven businesses out of these environments. That's why you have such high vacancy factor. Pioneer Square in downtown Seattle has got an over 50% vacancy factor because street conditions are so brutal. You get out of your car and it smells like one thing: urine. That's not what people want to smell when they get out of their car and go to a vibrant business area. Oh, yeah, what's that? Are we in the porta potty? Oh, no. This is Pioneer Square. Never mind. Yeah, never mind. The fee amount would be determined by the length of time the space had been vacant. It's been vacant for a long time. It's a big fee. I mean, this is literally the best you can come up with. Not clean up these streets, not get the homeless somewhere where they can actually get some help, not cut down on crime, even more significantly than it's already been cut down. This is what you're doing. Idea is generating a strong reaction from some property managers. Yeah, you think? To argue, landlords are already doing all they can to fill empty spaces, and adding a tax could discourage investment in Portland at a time of serious headwinds. Yeah. Who's going to want to go into that environment and say, you know what? I'm going to buy a building in Portland. Well, guys with a lot of money who can withstand the brutal impacts of commies in Portland making decisions like this. These are terrible, terrible decisions. And it's not clear whether a tax would have the intended effect of reducing vacancy. No, it's not. It's going to make it worse. It's going to make it worse. You know what I mean? It's like taxing a guy for going into bankruptcy. The guy's got $10 million in outstanding obligations. He's got $1 million in assets. He's looking to go bankrupt. And what does the court do? Well, let's tax him some more because, he's going into bankruptcy. Let's tax him. We've got to load another $1 million in outstanding obligations to him. Let's layer up his debt because that's really going to help him out. One recent study found that such taxes don't move the needle on vacancies, even in the best of times. Why would they? Ask yourself this. Why would they? These people have no concept of business. They have no concept of real estate. They are mentally challenged. I'd say retarded, but we don't say that anymore because, we're all, you got to be sensitive to a bunch of retards, I guess. 𝗪𝗛𝗧𝗛 said that there is no specific policy on the table, but the city is exploring what a vacancy tax might look like. And you wonder why businesses are leaving. Are you mentally challenged? I don't know. These people are one of two things, stupid or mentally challenged. Which one is it? You know what? There is a third. It could be both. It could be both. We really need to make sure this is the right tool solving the right problem. Why would this be the right tool? On what planet do you think taxing somebody who's got a vacant space because nobody wants to rent there is a good idea? The amount of specifically commercial vacant storefronts right now is a problem that needs a solution. Here's a solution. Clean up the streets. Get the homeless out of there. Support your cops doing their job. Arrest people. Prosecute people. Throw them in jail. Get the drugs off the streets. Get the trafficking off the streets. Get the homeless out of all the homeless encampments. Don't let them live wherever the F they want. And by God, reduce those taxes. Reduce all of that crap you've layered on as Democrats that absolutely says no businesses should come here and do business, because that's exactly what you've done. And we cannot sit by and allow the kind of active deterioration of the places where our economy needs to thrive. 100% agree. But what you're throwing out there to do is 100% the wrong solution. Wrong. It's just wrong. It's backwards. It's backwards. During the council's latest budget cycle, councilors passed 2 budget amendments, to study how a long-term vacancy fee could you imagine sitting in a council meeting and having somebody pop off with this? Could you imagine if I was on the city council? I would literally stand up and start shouting, "Are you stupid?" You know what I mean? Just, are you stupid? Because that's what this telegraphs. We are so dumb that we can't work out what a reasonable solution would be. And a lot of it has to do with they don't have the balls to go out and do what needs to be done because, politically, that might not be correct. Actually, throwing somebody in jail for breaking the law. Weird. Let's go ahead and let, people running around with knives and machetes and just, play grab ass all day in our streets. And why aren't the commercial spaces getting filled up? Weird. No idea. No idea. The idea is to look into what a potential structure might look like for both vacant residential and commercial space. The study is designed to give us options. Didn't you guys do a study going to Portugal for, drug treatment? Didn't you do that? How'd that work out? Yeah, what's going on there? Bunch of commies. Building owners right now are trying to do anything they can to fill their space, and there's logic that we're somehow trying to hold out for a higher rate, he said. But right now, I got 20,000 square feet of space that I'm basically giving away. And you can't give it away. You can't give it away because market conditions and street conditions can't do it. Can't do it. Mark said his company is engaged in leasing deals it never would have considered pre-pandemic, such as reducing rents, remodeling spaces, attracting new tenants for empty spaces continues to be an issue. With the massive amount of space you've got, it's huge. It's enormous. Downtown Seattle, same thing. Seattle's got the highest vacancy factor in the country. It's somewhere around 35%. 1 out of every 3 spaces, vacant, closed, gone. On the residential side, the idea of finding landlords drew a similarly strong response. You know what? The residential side isn't nearly as bad because people need a place to live. Businesses no longer need the amount of space that they once had because of AI and because of remote work And because of the way that business structure is going, no longer need that space, no longer need all these people in the downtown core. That synergy is no longer there, right? Don't have to have it. So you're going to have to do more than tax your existing landlords to try and encourage something to happen, because it's not going to happen on its own. And Portland and Seattle are West Coast, Best Coast, and they get this. I'm convinced, because they're each kind of in a bubble, right? Seattle's a big small town, right? So's Portland, big small town. And they think that they're all that, and yet, they can't see outside of their own little bubble. And tech workers in Seattle are the same way. They live in this little bubble and they think that everybody thinks like them, and then they can't work out why things go sideways. And you have actions cause consequences, like if you let whacked out drug addicts run your streets for years, and if you let, how about in Portland, you let your ICE facility just get absolutely trashed by a bunch of furries. That happened last weekend. Portland, get a hold of it. Get some control. Otherwise, you're going to be spending $62,000 on just nothing, which is what you're doing now. And you guys are mentally challenged. I mean, you guys just need to come up with a better plan, which is, how about reality? How about take a hard look at what made these businesses leave? Super high taxes, and it's a brutal environment to run a business out of Portland, both physically and economically. How about working on that? Oh, we can't work on that. We're socialists. It is a fantastic storyline to watch, right? Because it is so mentally challenged. It's so opposite of reality. This is never going to work, right? It'll never work. And yet, hey, let's give it a whirl. We're adults. We're in business suits. We're sitting down at the council meeting. Let's tax them. We need them to get off their ass and tax. This whole concept of if we just, it's like a parent, trying to spank a child to get them to do what they want. But the child's already trying real hard to do exactly what the parent's asking. But the parent is creating a scenario where they can't get whatever their task is done, which in the business owner's concept is getting a damn tenant in there. I mean, no wonder there's zero desire for your average business owner to want to buy a building or run a business out of Portland, Oregon, because it's so challenged. But you know what the great thing is about this? That's right. Podcasts for days, weeks, months, years. And in Portland's case, I'm afraid it's going to be decades, because we just seem to have more and more of these just wonky people on the city council that can't work their way out of a wet paper bag, coming up with these kind of ideas. So make sure you're subscribed, hit that notification bell. I'll see you in the next episode. Thanks for joining. Bye for now.